I'd like to welcome our two panelists, Vivian Rosenthal and Sveinung Skaalnes. Is that correct? Yes? Great. Vivian is with Google Creative Lab, and Sveinung is with Hyper Island, and they are at the 30 Weeks Creative Lab. So please, without further ado.
Thanks.
Excellent. First of all, great to be here. Really great to be invited. Great to hear the pitches. Yeah, we're not gonna pitch as such, although we have an opportunity for you. So yeah, you can jump on it. We're here to talk about 30 Weeks, which is an experiment that we're currently undertaking. I'm gonna need a clicker. I just realized.
Just to quickly, so Sveinung is the program director. I'm the founder in residence. Here, as it says here. And we've really been tasked with designing the future of education and the future of what it means to be a founder.
Yeah. So 30 Weeks, it's a 30-week-long program where, like in the title of what we're going to talk about, incubation meets education. So just to get you, this is kind of how we look at the model today. Today we have graduates taught by professors, learning by listening, graduate with a debt and get a job. And we're interested in changing that conversation. Changing the conversation into founders coming out, mentored by industry, learn by launching, graduate with a product and create jobs. Now this first year, what we are doing, we're working with designers, so turning designers into founders. We have 17 amazing designers. They're industrial designers, graphic designers, with architecture background, with web background, with hacker background. There's Google, there's Hyper Island, and the New York kind of design schools. So, Hyper Island, for those of you who don't know, is a Swedish. We're a bit old to be a startup. We started in '97, but we still behave very much like a startup. Kind of in education, Google is Google. And then the New York design schools is SVA, Pratt, Parsons, and the Cooper Union. And we all come together around this shared idea of like, what if we could, create more design-led businesses, more design-led companies? What happens if design is at the, in the front seat early on, and not just something as a design as a service, which you add on to make it look pretty? We're working with the best minds in tech, education, and business. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about who they are, but we have a space in Manhattan, and the designers own everything. So we don't take a stake, Google don't take a stake, and that's kind of our model. Now,
that said, Google Ventures obviously has first look.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah. But unlike a lot of traditional incubators, Google is not taking equity off the top. So that's a big distinction from almost every incubator out there.
Yeah. And also why we're here also is to obviously share why we're excited about this, but also invite you to be part of it. So the best minds in tech, education, and business, you're among them. You're experts in your field and in your domains. And it's very much based on people teaching people. And just talking a little bit about.
Yeah, so I mean, I think these are some of the mantras that we formulated at the beginning of the program. One is the world needs non-incremental change, and that's something that we are thinking about in relationship to even forming what this program is. So it unto itself is a startup. The people in the program have come from all around the world, and we are sort of helping them to think in think and design for the future. And as such, we felt like education, the models that exist currently, don't serve that particularly well. You don't necessarily need to go to a 3 or 4 or even 2-year graduate program when you can sort of hyper-accelerate that in 30 weeks. And that time it might change, but that's what we sort of took as our first stab at what we think the amount of time you need to launch a product. So that was sort of one of our mantras. The next was innovation happens when design and tech intersect. And so, obviously there's a typical engineer-founded companies, MBA-founded companies. We also felt like there was a lot of value in design-founded companies, which we're seeing more and more of, like Airbnb as an example. And so it felt like there's a real need for this. And I think Google and Hyper Island, as well as the New York Design Schools, recognized this and wanted to really champion this and see this as a paradigm shift, that there's this wealth of creativity, and through that creativity comes, amazing ideas and innovation. And often those designers aren't necessarily equipped with the fundamental skills of just what it means to be an entrepreneur, how to raise capital, and all those things. So we want to give them the tools so that they can become founders. And so that's what we were looking for in the 17 people we chose from literally around the globe who've moved here. And sort of that innate sense of entrepreneurship, but also a really tangible understanding of design and creativity. And then the real world is the best education. So this is not about learning through teachers or books per se, although reading is obviously valued, but it's really about doing and making and iterating and validating those ideas and creating prototypes. So we have domain experts come in who are actually working in, whether it's fintech, edtech, adtech, whatever it might be, and talk about what they're doing in their startups, so that these designers are getting sort of this real-world experience rather than being taught a semester class on entrepreneurship. And so they're really diving headfirst into what it means to start and run and scale a company and raise capital.
Yeah, I think that's also important. I mean, we're starting a company is one thing, but we're also looking to incubate these people that are interested in scalable ideas, whether hardware or software, but in the tech space.
Yeah, and this we keep repeating, which is the point: ideate, validate, and iterate. And I think at this point, the students understand why we've sort of really harped on this. It's just that investors invest usually in people and in their ideas and their passion, and so they understand that often they might pivot, or the business model might change, or a number of things might change. But so we're really helping them understand that they need to keep this iterative process. And that's one thing that is sort of constant throughout the program, is that they're being challenged to really think about how their idea evolves, or whether their idea even needs to completely change and become something else.
And it's also something that we apply to ourselves, right? Because this is very much a learning experience for us. We're not creating a school for thousands. We're creating a tailored program for 17 individuals in a space, in time, and we're going to give them what they need, not what we thought they would need. So that's something that we, week to week, also iterate and change up a lot, which is part of the fun.
Yeah, and I spoke to this a little bit, people teaching people. So obviously, we're always looking for new speakers. So if any of you in the room think you might be a relevant speaker, let us know, or if you think of someone who is. And on that same note, we're having angels and VCs come in, really starting in early stages in the program to be part of our weekly pitch meetings. So if you're on the angel or VC side and you want to come in and see the projects sort of as they unfold, really from the genesis to a further iteration. We're in week 4, and so we've already started to bring in outside people, and that's been an amazing experience for the designers, and I think also really exciting for the investors to see things in such a nascent stage. So, and I guess where the world is headed, where I think we can. That's part of why we're trying to instill that not only in the kinds of products that they're creating in businesses, but in the program itself.
Yeah.
And looking at new models of education, which obviously people like Peter Thiel are really advocating, and clearly Google and Hyper Island saw the opportunity to change the way education happens, and the sort of, I think that what's been exciting for us is just in 4 weeks we've seen these 17 people already radically shift their mindset, and their confidence has just blossomed, and that's really exciting.
Just want to give you that. It's been quite a text-based presentation. This is what it looks like. And also this, we're exploring the model, and something that we want to we believe that this is an important question. 30 weeks is one manifestation of it. We're also documenting towards creating a blueprint of this. Open sourcing our learnings for other schools, other companies, other startups to say, okay, what are the little insights that goes into, you know, entrepreneurship DNA, or what is founderism? And we're really interested in sharing that. So both for the people involved, but also anyone who's willing to listen afterwards. So yeah, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you all afterwards.
Yeah, we'd love to see you come in and join us with the students. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. So just, there's a little something, a little something for both of you.
Oh.